Throughout the show is a big cast of characters from across
Scheiß Familienvater.
along with some of your favorite Call of Duty content creators and streamers. How we start things off. This is the worldwide debut.
Ja, mach
of the
jetzt,
Black
komm,
Ops
yalla.
Cold War multiplayer trailer.
Threat neutralized.
You're here because you're the best special forces NATO has to offer.
We're all that keeps the world from turning to cinders, comrades.
We work off the books
Operate in the shadows.
to keep the wolves at bay.
War das der
Today,
MP7?
we reshape the world.
What the fuck are we doing in Miami?
Let them
Das habt ihr schon gesehen bei mir im letzten Video, wo ich der Gameplay schon gezeigt habe. Die Map, glaube ich, ist das. Raketenwerfer.
Go, go, go! It's time to punch that top guard. Secure the sub.
I'll take care of this.
Ich verstehe nicht, wo das ein Multiplayer-Review ist, sorry.
Ah, shit. Soviet convoy disabled. I'll drive.
Big Papa pick the war up. And that's how it goes.
Keep pushing! No! Over here!
Das ist ja kein Multiplayer, oder? Wo ist denn... Das ist Blackout. Mit Zeit wieder back am Start. 13. November, ja.
Pre-order a digital copy and get early access to the open beta and instant access to the
8.
Woods Operator
Oktober.
pack in Modern Warfare and Warzone.
8. Oktober, ein
You
Monat.
just saw it.
Das ist ja eher ein Battle Royale, würde ich auch sagen. RIP COD 2020.
For Black Ops Cold
2021.
War, that world building drove each multiplayer level in two ways.
Ich stelle es nicht vor,
With
habe
the
ich schon.
signature level design you've come to expect, and by pushing the visual bar and immersing players into a narrative of unfolding events. The fight to recover a downed satellite in the Central African desert, battles that unfold on the neon-soaked streets of Miami's famed South Beach.
Das war die Map, was ihr schon gesehen habt in den Multiplayer-Gameplay. Also die Leute, was nicht das Multiplayer-Gameplay schon gesehen haben, ich habe ein YouTube-Video hochgeladen. Könnt ihr euch auch abchecken. Ist leider nicht von der Qualität scheiße. Ich habe das Originalvideo auch verlinkt. Maps, ja, jetzt bin ich gespannt, Maps.
My name is Brittany Beidelman. I'm a level designer. I'm Kendall Snow, associate level designer.
I'm Brittany Perello, producer.
I'm Matt Kutris, senior level designer.
In Satellite, a top secret American recon satellite
Has lost power
Warum
and
sind die
crashed.
Designer? Da müssen die junge
With hired DGI forces closing in,
Now it's a race to secure the crash site.
what I love about Satellite
Also
is
jetzt nichts
the fact
gegen
that
die,
it's just this
aber-
amazing natural space.
Because larger maps have more components, we can apply more
Ich kann mir nicht
details
vorstellen,
in a
dass
map
die
like
bei den
Satellite,
alten
which
CODs
make them
mitgearbeitet
feel even
haben.
more natural. The satellite at the center is like a king of the hill. Anyone who wants it has to run toward you because it's raised higher than the rest of the map.
I'm usually playing one of two ways. All in, full ham, dying again and again. Or in objective modes, I'll flank and get the jump on people. Satellite scratches both of those itches. Even though it's an outdoor space, the map's two different regions.
Ich will auch mal arbeiten, dann gibt's ein besseres COD.
I'll be honest, I am trash with the sniper rifle, but a shotgun, that I can do. I have always been a big fan
Habt ihr gerade gehört, was sie
of close quarters combat. And there's great cat and mouse style gameplay.
Habt ihr gerade gehört, was sie gesagt hat? Sie ist nicht gut mit der Sniper, sie ist eine Shotgun-Spielerin.
Predict which way they'll circle the debris to run up behind them, or just
Glauben an
duck
COD jetzt
inside the
verloren.
satellite and take your shot.
Der ist beim Designer dabei, die was Shotgun geil findet.
The world knows and loves for how quickly engagements fire up. East and West collide on the open seas in a top-secret mission.
Inspired by a real-life event, Project Azorian, CIA, JSOC, and Soviet forces converged to recover a sunken prototype nuclear Soviet submarine from the ocean floor. The calm waters of Armada explode into massive naval conflict as players battle for control of large naval vessels.
With no lanes walling you in, players can engage on ships' decks, in the water, and on vehicles like freight runners and gunboats. Armada is chaos in the best way.
This really cool map that gives this amazing sense of exploration.
Nein, die ist nicht cool.
There are so
Die
many
ist nicht
little
cool.
individual
Das ist eine
areas to
Multiplayer-Map.
find and new ways
Das ist eine
to
Multiplayer.
surround or
Schau dir das
flank your
an.
enemies and get the
Das ist einfach Blackout im Mini oder so. Die wollen uns alle verarschen.
A hidden safe house has been discovered right in the heart of the USSR, in the shadow of Moscow's opulent train station. With Spetsnaz dispatched, the area has gone hot.
Das ist auch keine gute Map, das sehe ich jetzt schon.
So the Moscow
Schau mal
map
die
is
Häuser
set
an und
in
so.
the dead
Schaut.
heart of a big city. So you're wandering through these streets with a bunch of cars, and there's tall buildings on either side of you. There's this sense that you've been dropped into a point in history.
Oh, wenn du
First thing I do is run right to the center because that's where all lanes cross in the Moscow map. And eventually, it doesn't take long, people are gonna run through the metro station.
Was sind das für Visiere?
So you can just sit
Digga,
there
das
and
ist so
wait,
ein
but chances are
Dildo-Visier.
there's gonna be people running right to your line of fire right off the bat.
It's a classic 3-lane map where teamwork really makes the dream work.
Das ist alles Bodenkrieg.
January 17, 1984. This location is heavily
Ja, finde ich auch.
influenced by
Sieht, wie
Miami's
ein
famous,
sieht ein bisschen
or
wie
perhaps
MW aus.
infamous,
Bisschen.
Ocean Drive.
Hilfe.
This is a night map, but one unlike players have seen before.
You can sneak through dark, shadowy alleys, go out onto the beach, out into the ocean.
You can dive in the water and wait along the coast to get the drop on the other side.
Or you can just go right down the street and bask in the neon light.
The first time I played through Miami, I could hear this 80s nightclub music playing through the walls of one of the buildings. The little details make it lifelike, and it becomes this joy to experience. Basically, my goal is to never be on the main street.
Die hat sich gerade über die Musik gefreut.
That is sniper heaven, and that is Britney hell. So I always go and try to flank and get those snipers from the back.
Our art and design teams worked really hard.
Schau mal. Die redet gerade von Sniper, so dass man außen rum geht und dann die Sniper holt vom Spawn. Die kann nicht mal wissen, wie COD funktioniert. Die sagt, dass die Sniper immer hinten campen und so ein Scheiß. Ey, was ist das für ein Scheiß, Digga? Und solche sind bei der Entwicklerstudie dabei, die keine Ahnung von Game haben. Die spielen wahrscheinlich wie, dass sie keine Füße hätten, wie sie...
It really makes people feel like they're in Miami in the 80s. It's pretty cool.
Haben die ja COD gespielt? Ja, die haben das... Ach, komm. Das wahrscheinlich das erste COD war Modern Warfare bei denen.
A large Soviet missile convoy is on its way to the border.
Special forces dispatch alongside MI6 to ambush the convoy and secure
Warum
the
sind da
weapons
immer
before all
solche
hell breaks loose?
Schneemobile bei den Maps?
It's one of our most cinematic maps with a boots on the ground feel that feels pulled from the campaign.
Your team will want to hold down and
Aber das
protect
ist doch
its
alles
own
viel zu
outposts
groß.
to guarantee access to one of these tanks. But infantry combat doesn't take a backseat in Crossroads, as natural terrain and foliage masks movements and provides tactical advantages.
There's a bunch of snowmobiles when you first spawn, and it's a mad dash to grab one.
And now, running people over with the snowmobile is my favorite thing to do.
Each environment changes the dynamic of how you play and caters
Hat
to
sie jetzt
unique
grad nicht
loadouts.
gesagt, oder?
Crossroads is a bigger map, and that allows you to play the way you want to play.
Black Ops Cold War, our classic game modes are returning and they're better than ever. From the tried and true Team Deathmatch, Domination, and Search and Destroy, to the return of the competitive game mode Control, we've taken a fresh eye to all of your favorites. We're encouraging more meaningful gameplay with larger capture zones and Domination. We're updating spawn systems in Hardpoint. And now we show you where the next Hardpoint will spawn so you can regroup, rotate, and set up for the next fight. Across all of our classic modes, we're working hard to make this the most rewarding and competitive multiplayer experience yet. And while your go-to modes are coming back better than ever, let's talk about the innovative modes we'll be going to next. With that, let me introduce you to my teammate Marquise Gladney, who's here to tell you about the brand new multiplayer experience we call VIP Escort.
Now we know that to you, combat is more than just pointing and shooting. It's about how your operator moves and weaves through your surroundings. It's feeling the power of your weapon, how it reacts in your hands. It's the sound of bullets storming past you, the rattle and bang of firing your weapon. In Cold War, we're back to plausible, authentic, boots-on-the-ground combat. And that has allowed us to not only refine the feel of the game, but build on all the classic foundations of Black Ops. Heads-up gameplay, automated healing, and grounded movement. Keeping your player experience in the front of our minds has also inspired a fresh wave of thinking across our creative class and score streak system, where we're introducing features that bring unprecedented transparency to your planning and cinematic wow moments to when you're playing. Now, innovating systems while still capturing that signature Black Ops super smooth feel is a notoriously tricky thing to get just right, and we put everything we have into it for each game. This is an absolute team effort, so I brought some of my friends from the combat team to help tell you about our initiatives for this game and how they've resulted in signature combat that feels just right. Here's Max Porter to start us off.
We've taken lessons learned from across Black Ops and the entire Call of Duty franchise to land on a truly best-in-class weapon experience. The gun is almost always right in front of you and must look great. From a gun's seams down to its grime, the level of detail in Black Ops Cold War has never been higher. But our weapons also need to move in a realistic manner. You'll feel it in this game, whether you're clocking from long range or firing from the hip. When we think about a gun, we think about the way it looks, the way it's going to move, but a big part of a gun's personality is the sound that it makes. It's like the bark of a dog. We're sort of imagining all these guns as characters. That just adds to that level of realism and that sort of immersive quality that is unique to Call of Duty. It's this multifaceted approach to how weapons look, animate, and sound that together defines the feel of Cold War's signature gunfighting experience. Here's Alvin with a debrief on some of the other combat systems waiting for you in Cold War.
Jetzt fehlt nur mal die VMP.
Let's talk about two of the most significant and impactful features of multiplayer. Create a class and score streaks. Our goal with Create a Class in Cold War is to empower you without making trade-offs. This year, better starts with simpler. Create a Class will be a slot-based system, no longer governed by allocations or the Pick 10 system.
Aber das sieht gut, das sah auch gut aus.
Full class of a primary, secondary,
aber da kann man nicht viel falsch machen, aber das
tactical, field upgrade, and a set of perks. Field upgrades are items placed in the world to give your team an advantage. You can earn them solely based on time.
Nein, nein, no.
They are the only type of game content that works on a cooldown that lasts after death. Now, wild cards are back. In this system, in every class, you can pick one of 4 wild cards that let you do things like load your primary weapon with up to 8 attachments, carry up to 6 perks, double the number of lethals and tacticals you have, or carry 3 primary perks from any mix of categories. In Black Ops Cold War, there are more optics and attachments to unlock and configure than ever before.
Oder?
Every primary weapon
Achso, du meinst insgesamt oder was?
54 attachments across 8 different nodes or attachment points.
64 attachments!
6 options per attach point. By default, you can equip 5 attachments or 8 gunfire wildcard. For the first time, Gutstep will show you what equipping an attachment does as a positive or negative percentage.
Schau mal.
Now build
Oh mein Gott, ist das gut.
Out the perfect gun.
Oh Mann, Alter.
This takes the guesswork out of the system and helps us.
Warum gibt's nicht einfach Rotpunkt, LV und ein paar andere Wix-Visiere und das war's? Chill doch einfach. Warum denn so viele?
There's one more thing I need to talk about. First up, we've
Vor
updated
Wildcards kann man
score is kept through death.
Machen
This
und
change
mit
gives
einer
all
davor hat
players
man
a
6
chance
Perks.
to
Also
engage
okay.
with score streaks. One of the most visceral and fun experiences across multiplayer signature combat.
Achso.
If you do go on a streak and string together multiple kills before your own death,
Ja, okay, das ist so wie Mutterschiff oder so wie ein Heli halt.
learn into those higher powered score streak tiers. To prevent score streak spam, each score streak
Das ist wieder so eine Feldausrüstung. Ist halt auch lächerlich,
What
gell?
score streaks are we talking about? Well, your favorites are back, but we've also got a few surprises. Score streaks in Cold War can be used in all the classic
Granatenwerfer, Schwebeladung da?
ways.
Habe ich gesehen.
Save your team.
Granatenwerfer ist als Streak, okay, so wie Flammenwerfer in Modern
We've
Warfare.
also tailored
Oder
strategy
in
into the
anderen
system.
CODs.
As score streaks can often be neutralized.
Ja, so Blitzschlag, so eine Scheiße, irgend so ein Heli.
Now I'll pass it over to Sunny.
Vielleicht gibt's ein Orbi, vielleicht machen sie das rein. Komm.
How they move in Black Ops
Sag
4.
Orbi. Wie set? Ja, okay, kein Orbi oder was? Gibt's kein Orbi oder was? Können wir das Game quitten?